right, welcome on in, legends. We are back with another episode of WrestleChats with Sharpy and Ray. Ray, how are you, mate?
I'm fantastic, mate. And how are you?
Good. We're holding a bit of a gold today.
are.
We've got a bit of a gold rush going on.
I like it.
We had them in the background before, and we're like, no, we just want to hold them.
I know. I actually want to win this one day.
Yeah,
that would be a life goal to actually win this one day. I think myself and the rest of the world would actually like that too. Apart from
mini Bron Breaker. That's what we like to call them over.
All right, let's get into it.
Wrestle chats with Sharpy and Ray.
Survivor Series. Now, we're kind of going to drive ourselves nuts here because we've sort of spoken about it already, but to you guys, it won't matter. I want to start off, how many War Games matches are going to be on the Survivor Series pay-per-view, do you think?
So, to me, it only makes sense that they're going to do the two, which would be the women's and then the men's at the same time.
Yep.
Both a big conversation to have there alone in what they're actually going to put on that card. Do we kick it off with that?
Absolutely.
I would like to kick it off, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this, on the women's. Who is involved in it?
It's going to be tough.
It's a real tough one now.
Do you somehow involve the Judgment Day? Or do you somehow involve, so for Bad Blood, we had Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair host. Yes. Do we have them in a War Games against Liv Morgan, and I guess Raquel's now with her, but they haven't really got any other mates to team up with for a War Games match. So like,
yeah.
I'm like you, I can't really wrap my head around if there's going to be one or two. There should be two. It seems only fair that you have a men's and a women's.
Of course.
They always do that. They have that for Royal Rumbles, Money in the Banks, everything.
The only thing that I could think of is maybe at the present moment, so I think we're definitely going to get Jade, Bianca, and Naomi on one team, and then you would have Bayley. I think Bayley would come over just for the simple fact of like, oh, it's Naomi's friend. So Bayley would come on board, and then Bayley would bring on
whoever.
I don't know. Let's call out someone like maybe Mitchin might get the call up. And then for the women's side of things, I think, and I'm kind of hoping at the same time, Damage Control. And now I mean Asuka, because I'd really like Asuka to come back, even though there is rumors that she's injured. I'd really like Asuka to come back, and that's three right there.
Do you team them with Nia Jax and Tiffy?
It's not the worst
There's
idea.
Your two bad guys to chuck in with the other bad guys.
It's not your worst idea. I think we're onto something there. I mean, but there's so many possibilities of what we can do. We just saw Chelsea Green be involved in a match too. Chelsea Green could get a push, which she definitely does.
You're saying her name wrong.
How do I say her name?
Chelsea Green!
I'm never going to ask you to do that ever again.
Copy.
So Chelsea could be involved in it as well. But I'm going to throw this one out there, and I'm going to take a book out of Danny's books and throw a left fielder out there. Would you not do versus the SmackDown girls or NXT versus the Raw girls? So to me, on NXT, the women's division has a lot more exposure than what the main card does. The main card, you will see the main girls in short segments each week, when NXT get extended matches week in, week out. I don't know. Thoughts?
The more I think about it, the more I struggle to put together a match for the women's. Maybe they just do the traditional 5-on-5 tag match instead of a War Games match.
Okay.
I don't think the story, unless, and we are recording this on the 6th of October, so there is a fair bit of time in between now and the first. So it's almost 2 months. So we're 8 weeks away. So there's a lot that could happen. But at this very moment, I think the more I think about it, maybe it is only one, and you do like a traditional Survivor Series match. I don't think the story is enough to put them inside a cage. That's where I'm sitting at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
You could do 5-on-5. You could do like... You could do maybe Rhea, Bayley, and then you could have the other three girls as well, Naomi, Cargill, and Belair versus, like Jax, Tiffy, and Damage Control, and have that story. But like, do they all hate each other that much that it needs to be in War Games? I don't think they do.
I think it's pretty clear that right now, at the present moment, we're just guessing.
Yeah, I don't really know.
There's nothing clear to us at all in the women's division of who they would put forward. So I think maybe let's just stop guessing, let the weeks play out and see what they actually do. I mean, WWE are surprising us or impressing us week in, week out.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's ride this. Let's ride these couple of weeks and let's see what they
All
can
right,
do.
so yes or no? War Games, 2 matches, yes or no?
Well, I'm going to say yes, but I hope yes. 2 matches.
Okay.
Women's and men's. What do you guys think? Please drop a comment below. Is there going to be 2 matches, 1 match? If the women are going to have an actual War Game as well, who do you think would be involved or who would you love to see involved? Past, present, future, however you want to play it out, guys. We're very interested to hear your thoughts on this because our thoughts, once again, we're just guessing. Please drop a comment below. So let's move on to
We're a couple of idiots.
It's insane that. Men's, let's go to the men's War Games. To us, I think it's a bit more clear of who may be involved.
Bloodline v Bloodline, wouldn't it? It has to be Bloodline. We talked about Civil War before between like Solo and Roman versus like Jimmy and Jay. But like now we've got we've got the OTC, the original Tribal Chief, and his bloodline versus the new bloodline. It's surely set up for that. It has to be. But the question is the roster of each bloodline. So we've got 4 already for the bad guys. You've got the Tongans, you've got Solo and Jacob Fatu. The Rock isn't going to wrestle in War Games.
You wouldn't think so.
No.
He's too much of a big name to do that.
There has to be another sibling or family member. Oh, they're out there. We know they're out there.
Yes, absolutely they are out there.
The question I have is, do they do a 4-on-4 or do they do a traditional 5-on-5? They pluck out maybe another member from somewhere.
Yeah.
But then to add to that, you've got Roman, Jimmy. Does Jay get dragged in? We've talked about before. Maybe he gets dragged in.
I wouldn't like him to, but it is a maybe, yeah.
Cody, at the moment, looks like he's probably going to be involved. If The Rock is involved at the other end, Seth Rollins.
Ooh, Sharpy. Okay.
To continue that WrestleMania story.
Yeah.
But then where does that leave? If there's going to be a debut somewhere else, does Cody come out? Or, like, does surely he's going to have a title defense. He can't keep not defending his title.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So since Cody's been pulled into what we just watched a little while ago, Bad Blood, he didn't defend his undisputed title at all. It was actually just something that was tied in with the bloodline. So I do agree with you that can he just keep going and not defending his title? To me, I hate that. Every single main event, every single championship should be defended on every single main event. I know you don't agree with me on that one, Sharpy, but how long can this guy go being pulled into the bloodline matters without actually defending his championship?
We hated when Roman would go 3 months without defending his title.
Absolutely.
So we don't want to see that again. I'm happy to give him 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. But then I want him back defending. He's a babyface champion. He
should be defending his title. Absolutely.
Back in the day, we've seen people to pull double duty as well. Like,
yes.
We've seen people go, well, I'm defending my title and then I'm going to wrestle in the Survivor Series match as well.
Yep.
So maybe they do that too.
I don't know if I could see WWE doing that.
I agree.
I don't know if I could see WWE saying, because if he gets injured in one match, then how's he going to move over to the second match?
Then you have a backup.
Yeah.
Just a rare backup. Just in case.
Yeah.
You're sitting in reserves just in case.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think it will be Bloodline v Bloodline, but it's the members of the rosters for each team. That's going to be the most interesting part. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Who's going to be a part of those teams, and more importantly, is that going to be the actual match? Or do you think it'll be someone else instead? We're going to stay with Cody Rhodes. He looks like, at the moment, he's going to be feuding with Kevin Owens. After Bad Blood, there was obviously that backstage brawl, or parking lot brawl, I guess. KO attacking Cody. That's obviously probably going to lead into a match between them. We've got Crown Jewel, which is going to be Cody and Gunther at this stage, provided Sami Zayn doesn't win on Raw. Then KO and Cody again. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
Well, I did like the KO and Cody thing, and there's something I didn't like about it was at the end of it, how, Cody had beaten KO and then went to raise his hand, and KO was like, don't raise my hand, and yada. So now that they're actually bringing the heat into it, the baby face and the heel, I think it's going to be a completely different match.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a totally different match. And I think we both know how good Cody is to bring his A game into a match. And I think we all know and have all seen it how good KO is to be an absolute schizo of the things that he wants to do. For example, jumping off forklifts, jumping off, big signs onto people. KO can bring it when he needs to bring it. And if he's got hatred behind him and if he's going after a title behind him, I think we're going to see probably the best KO that we're going to see in such a long time.
I agree with you. And that being said, they've had one normal singles match. Do we go no disqualification?
I'd love it.
What do we do from here?
I'd love it. For KO, I'd love a no DQ match. I don't think they would do a hardcore match or a street match just because of the simple fact of I don't think so many young viewers out there want to see Cody Rhodes busted open. I just don't think that is what the image wants you to see. Seeing CM Punk and Drew McIntyre busted open is a completely different category.
Hell in a Cell, stuff like that, I think is fair.
Biggest babyface.
I think Hell in a Cell, like when Cody wrestled Seth with a torn pec, it was in Hell in a Cell. That's fair.
Yes.
When it's Hell in a Cell, you know something's going down. So that is when it's okay. I think that's okay for Cody, but we've just had Hell in a Cell, so we're not going to have that for a while.
Can't have that for a long time.
So no DQ. Yeah, no red stuff. Just jump off something high or something crazy happens. Or the alternative, Randy Orton, does he get involved into the story? That's the thing is I've written Cody versus KO.
Yeah.
But Randy, what does he do? Because he's linked with KO right now.
He is. So it's RKO, which is on the shirts and everything like that. So to bring Randy into the mix, that stirs up that pot right there, doesn't it?
100%.
I mean, so let's just talk about like Randy Orton and Cody straight away off the top of the bat there. So two guys that are like, let's call them vintage in the game that first came up. We've seen snippets of Randy Orton looking over at the undisputed title. He's said a copious amounts of times he hasn't actually won this title yet.
No, and he wants it.
It's something that he would like to do. KO is up there with, well, if not the best, one of the best to do it in the game.
Yep.
And to put this on his resume as well would just definitely...
KO hasn't won a world title since 2016.
And that's another thing too.
It's too long.
Yeah, it's a long time. And how much work the guy's putting in and outside of the ring as well. His mic skills are extraordinary.
He's fantastic.
He's
His
so
wrestling's
good.
amazing.
He's so good. So safe.
He's a good dude.
Yep.
His time has to come soon.
At some stage, I think he does. But the question is, he's not beating Cody?
Yeah.
He's not beating Cody. I mean, tell us what you think, guys. Drop a comment below. Do you think KO can beat Cody to be the next champ? Do you think Randy should beat Cody to be the next champ? Do you think that Randy and KO will then turn on each other to what we can only hope to be one of the best triple threat matches that we've seen in such a long time?
I was just about to say that.
Will that be at War Games? Will that be in Saudi? Who knows, guys? So drop a comment below what you guys think or what you guys would love to see. We've just shared our thoughts with you guys right then. Moving on, Sharpy, Gunther.
He's got Sami Zayn on Raw. We obviously are filming this well before Survivor Series, so we don't know the outcome of that. But do you have a gut feel, where is that going to go? And once he destroys Sami, because he already did the job for him at Mania this year, he's not going to lose again to him.
I don't think he is, no.
And Sami's working his ass off just to get one title shot.
Yeah.
He won't get another.
No.
Who do you see potentially copping a title shot against Gunther?
First, I don't want to take what's definitely meant to be given to him, and that's Sami and Gunther. Just their feud alone has been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the way that Sami won the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther as well was just pure emotion. Yeah. Was absolute emotion. You're seeing this guy just get the absolute stuffing beaten out of him by this guy who's such a general in the ring. He's the ring general, so such a general in the ring. It just beat the absolute stuffing out of this guy, and this guy would not stay down. So he eventually just kept getting up and then beating Gunther. Do I believe that he's going to do this, being a world heavyweight champion, by beating Gunther that way? No, I don't think Sami can do this again, because I don't think Sami...
He's already done it. You don't need to tell the same story.
You don't need to tell the same story. And unfortunately, that's how Sami does wrestle. We get behind it. We love the emotion behind it. But we've all seen it before. I can't see Sammy coming out there just being an absolute berserker and hitting down Gunther. If someone does do that anyway, Gunther just stands back up and slaps him straight back down again. Unfortunately, how much I love Sammy, how much you love Sammy, as much as the rest of the world loves Sammy, he's just not going to get the job done. When Sammy doesn't get the job done, to your question there, Sharpy, of who's going to step up next?
There's only one man.
There's only one man who I think can step up next.
We're going to say it together.
I think we're going to say it together.
1, 2, 3.
CM Punk. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won the Hell in a Cell, and he did call out the World Heavyweight Champion in previous episodes of Raw. McIntyre maybe goes away. That was their final match.
Yeah.
But he's got unfinished business with Seth Rollins.
That he does. I mean, CM Punk's got a lot on his plate right at the moment. He just did a special guest referee on NXT.
Love that.
He comes out and his promo work is a little bit too long for my liking, but at the same time, his promo work is just one of the best in the industry.
Best ever.
Pipe Bomb still talking about it still to this day, which was many
13
years
years
ago.
ago.
13 years ago, many years ago. So his work on the mic is absolutely flawless. I would say probably flawless, apart from stretching it out a little bit too long. The work inside the ring, the work outside the ring, brings his dog into it. Not only does CM Punk bring his dog, he can also bring his wife into it too. This man is just basically the industry inside and out.
Well, the Hell in a Cell was about the bracelet. They made the bracelet more important than the World Championship almost.
Which is then bringing his family into it again. So CM Punk is bringing his family into this industry. Do I think CM Punk can knock Gunther off being the next challenger for Gunther?
I don't know.
I would say not straight away.
No, Gunther hasn't had it long enough.
And he hasn't. And it wouldn't make sense to knock the ring general out of that top-notch spot so quickly. And I don't even think Triple H would let him.
No, I don't think anybody, especially after having the IC title for 666 days, I don't think he's going to lose the World Heavyweight title, at least until WrestleMania.
At least.
He might even hold it further.
Yeah.
But I think Punk will be the next challenger.
I think Punk will be the next challenger.
Because that's another notch on Gunther's belt. Who's he beaten so far? Randy?
Randy, yeah, which was, it was a good match.
He beat
Priest, that was, it is what it is. You know what I mean? He's going to beat Sammy.
I don't know who he beat at the last pay-per-view, to be honest.
I'm really not too sure. Can't come to me right now at the present moment.
CM Punk, who's coming off the Hell in a Cell win.
He's hot.
That's a big win. If
he's
Gunther
red
wins
hot.
That.
Yeah.
And if Gunther wins the championship that we spoke about for Crown Jewel, assuming that did happen.
Yes.
That's going to be pretty good for him. He'll have a couple of good wins on his belt.
That's a lot on his resume
he's
right
look
there.
Like a monster heading into WrestleMania season.
Absolutely, which he should.
He absolutely should.
One person that I do want to throw into the mix in who I think would be a good matchup for Gunther.
Please.
But they're going to hold it out until WrestleMania because this man is only top-notch superstar throughout the world. And Gunther said that he's wanted to fight the boss before. And that's Brock Lesnar. Now, we all know there's a lot going on with Brock Lesnar via Vince McMahon, via what's going on in the background. But I think it's a money maker and an opportunity that WWE will not turn down.
I've got another one for you.
I think it's going to happen at some stage, give or take what's going on in the background. But I'm interested in this Sharpy. Shoot.
Well, seeing if that plays out or not, if that doesn't play out, then the next best would be Bill Goldberg.
Oh, of course!
And we just saw Bill Goldberg get riled up at Bad Blood. I think that maybe after Crown Jewel, we see Goldberg versus Gunther. And again, Gunther beats him.
Yeah.
And you have maybe Goldberg and then Punk, or Punk and Goldberg. He's knocked them off. That's some top tier level. It's going to take a hell of a lot to beat him.
That's right. We forgot all about that. I only just watched it today and we forgot all about it. Goldberg, hopefully he can hold it down in his match against Gunther because Gunther's going to take him to another level.
Gunther will carry him. He'll look after him.
He will look after him and he'll carry him, but at the same time, I don't think Gunther's going to hold back against the old fella, powerbombing him. I think Gunther's going to say, you need to get up, mate. I think he's going to push him to his limit, powerbomb him a few times, take the wind out of the old guy and just keep telling him and yelling at him to stand back up again. So
I like it.
I love it. There's so many possibilities with the ring general of what they can do. I think we just don't need to forget how good and dominant he is in the ring, which opens up so many possibilities.
Which is why I think he'll destroy Sammy on Raw. Maybe not destroy him, that's probably a bit harsh because he's still a bad guy, but I think he'll beat him and then move on to the next challenge. maybe beat Cody, and then move on to his first proper challenger after that. Punk or Goldberg will be a
very tasty treat.
And
Absolutely.
then you've got that match after that. So Punk might be tied up with the man I want to talk about now as well, Seth Rollins.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's come in and just stomped the hell out of Bronson Reed.
Which was
on Raw.
fantastic.
What a way to come back
Absolutely,
after having a few weeks off.
Yes.
Does he get involved in that? The word is Strowman could potentially be injured at the moment.
Okay.
After those hellacious matches. Do you roll out a Rollins feud? What does Rollins do? He hates Punk. Punk might be free now. We don't know what he's doing. Punk might have a month off. I could see him not going over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's a good
who
point.
knows?
That's a very good point.
What do you think?
I think there's going to do a Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. Shout out for Bronson Reed. We're SA boys, so we're getting behind him. So Bronson, we absolutely love absolutely everything that you've been doing, mate. Destroying it on the world stage for us little fellas in South Australia. So props to you, mate. But I think they're going to do a Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, a couple of matches here. I mean, I think we're going to see Seth Rollins get a tsunami dropped on him maybe 2 or 3 times and then get back up again as good as what Seth Rollins does. In the long run, I can't see Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed being a big pay-per-view match. And I say a big pay-per-view match. Saudi,
You could chuck it in there. You
maybe.
could one of the mid-card matches. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be Cody sort of style feud or a Gunther feud, but you could definitely slot that in.
You could easily do it and you could get away with it. Would you do it at Survivor Series War Games? I don't think you would. WrestleMania, absolutely not. Survivor Series.
He has that tie-in, though, with the bloodline, too. So does he get dragged into that?
Yeah.
Do they try and... Does Bronson get dragged in? I know he's not really... Well, he's part Samoan.
Is he?
Well, part New Zealand, part...
Okay.
So he's got that background behind him.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they do have other proper family members, so they probably won't. They'll probably leave him how he is.
Don't know. But, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did bring in someone like Bronson Reed and try to recruit him just at the very last minute. I mean, have a look what happened last year when Randy Orton wasn't even involved in it, yet all of a sudden he was a part of the War Games match. You haven't even seen him for months and months, yet he makes his debut.
2 years. He was out for 2 years, 21 months he was out for.
2 years, there you go. And all of a sudden he was a part of the War Games match. So you never know what they could actually throw at us. But for Seth Rollins, what's next for that man? I would say Bronson Reed for the short term. For the long term, Mania, maybe Punk, whether and depending on who wins the Royal Rumble, which I think we'll get to
In another podcast.
maybe in another podcast because it is a very big conversation to have.
I like Punk and Rollins at Mania. I think that was what was meant to happen this year, and it
Okay.
didn't.
Yep.
We got Punk on the sidelines watching Seth and Drew.
Yes.
I think they might, just like The Rock and Roman, I think that plan could be just pushed back 1 more year.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
There could
maybe-
be a title involved. There might not be.
I was just
We
about to
don't
say
know.
that. So maybe let a certain somebody win the Royal Rumble to then win a title to then move on to that feud. Is that what you're saying? I don't hate that, Sharpie. That's actually bloody great, mate. I do like that.
We'll talk about that at the Rumble episode. but
We
that's-
are going to do a Rumble episode, WWE Creative, if you want to get in contact with us.
We have jobs.
We are available, as long as it's the right. But just letting everybody know. What's your thoughts, guys, out there on some of the things we've talked about recently? Please leave a comment below. Seth Rollins, let us know your thoughts on it. Gunther, the Ring General, let us know the thoughts on it. Even Bronson Reed, I'd love to know a little bit more about that. Let's not take away any props to Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman for the
fantastic.
monster versus monster matches.
Just the series that they had too, and the carnage that they caused over the period of that month and a bit. Unbelievable stuff. The crowd was like... traditionally, I think those matches can go one way and like be slow and boring and hard to watch.
Yes.
And those boys just went out and smashed each other to
They-
pieces, and the crowd was just like, if you're going to do big man matches, that's what you want.
Absolutely,
You don't want Big V, you don't want Mark Henry and Kane walking around slow in the ring. Great Khali, hard to watch. You want two dudes running into each other 100 miles an hour.
100 miles.
Jumping off concrete retaining walls onto a
Onto
car.
a car.
Like, unreal shit,
Wow.
man. Unreal. That would
Absolutely.
hurt like hell.
Absolutely, yeah.
I do have another quick one I want to add on that I've just thought of. In terms of War Games, if the Bloodline doesn't go ahead, or if they don't have a women's and they do want to have 2 War Games matches, there is the Judgment Day. 5 people right there.
Right.
Right, you got JD, Finn, Dom, Carlito. You could get one more if you had to.
Easily get one more, do you think, if you had to?
chuck maybe Miz or something in, right? And then do you go Priest, Jay, and 3 other baby faces?
Well, Jay, let's just go on Jay's mates right there. So Jay's mates could be in War Games. Jay's mates right there are KO, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes. That's something else right there.
So maybe you could have 2. You could have Bloodline v Bloodline and a Judgment Day one.
That you could. Sharpy, throwing them out there. Love it.
I just thought of that because I was like, well, there's 4 blokes right there that could wrestle in a War Games match, and if they unearth another member or they drag someone out of, you could almost get like Bronson Reed involved or something.
Yeah,
someone. I mean? You could get someone involved.
You think Finn's got a friend from back in the day that he could bring in? Absolutely. JD McDonough's got someone from NXT. Hopefully he could pull over.
Yeah.
See what you're saying? Yeah.
Dom could pull somebody in too. So there's that option too, which I wouldn't mind seeing as well. That could definitely play out.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
War Games. I'll definitely say that I'm very excited to see which direction they're going to go in, if there is going to be a women's or going to be a men's. Once again, guys, I know I've said it before, but leave a comment below what you're looking forward to for War Games, what you are and are not looking forward to. Do you think there's going to be a women's? Do you think there's going to be men's? Judgment Day, which Sharpy just said, do you think they're going to have an actual team too? Very interested to see how's it going to go down.
It's going to be a good show. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you do leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we will see you guys in another week's time for another episode. Thanks for watching. Any final thoughts?
Nah, excited.
Go
WWE. Thanks very much, guys.
Bye for now. Peace.
WrestleChats with Sharpy and Ray.